So now I'm going to show you how tangential lines work. Tangential lines are basically tangent lines, another word for it. So it is when you have a circle and another circle, and there's a line that's curved that goes past both of them. All right? It's basically three circles that touches each other. It's just a line there. This circle is not complete, you don't need to. So sometimes it will go to be another part of the machinery or something. All right, now I want to show you how to calculate the circular line that's touching both circles. All right, now the important thing to know is when my circles are like this, it is basically outside my big circle, right? Okay, when it's like this and they give you these two green circles, let's say the radius of this one is 20 and the radius of this one is, let's say, it should be smaller, but let's say 15, okay? So meaning from this point to here, it is 20 millimeters. From this point to here, it's 15. Okay, they give me these two and they say, figure out this middle circle. What that means is, even if I know this circle's radius is 40, I don't know exactly where to put my sharp point of my compass to get the circle. I mean, if I put it here, it's going to be 40, but it's not going to touch this one. And if it's here, it's going to be 40, but it's not going to touch this one. So, in order to ensure these two circles touch each other exactly, there's a certain calculation you need to do. You will take this radius, which is 20, and add it with this circle's radius. Okay. That means it is 60. So what that means is from this point to the center of this circle here, that is 60 millimeters. Okay, and you do exactly the same there. You say 15, because that's this one's radius, plus 40, which is this big circle's radius, equals 55. That is the complete radius, the complete distance from this one and here. Now, where these two will intersect, this measurement, that's why we're going to use a compass. Where these two intersect, there, that is going to be my center point of my circle. Final step will be I change my radius to 40 because I'm going to draw the circle, and you draw it like this. So I'm going to use an exercise to show you how to do it. All right, here's an exercise that you can try. Basically, they give you my measurements and everything like that. And again, I have this measurement and this one, but I need to get the top one. Basically, it's like this. Okay, so you need to be able to visualize your different circles in order to figure out how to approach a drawing. Okay, now, firstly, I'm going to change my measurements to radius. Okay, so this is 29, and this is 80, and this is 22. Okay, because I need to calculate now, and it's not going to make sense if I can't calculate properly. All right, so what you're going to do is add this radius with this radius, and this radius with this radius, right? So basically it's 29 plus 80 equals 109, okay? And then 22 plus 80 equals 102. Right, so from this point here will be 109, this point here will be 102. So now you calculate and use your compass. First 109. And then 22, 102. Alright, there where they intersect, change my radius to 80 again, which is the center of my actual circle. Sharp went there, and voila, there you go, perfect. Alright, now we're just going to do this one. You'll see how this one goes under, right? Now, it doesn't matter if my circle goes under or over. The important thing is you need to be able to see if this, where's the circle. Because in this case, even though it goes under my other two, my center point will still be at the top. Okay. And again, they give me these two circles. I need to work out where to put the middle point for my big circle. Okay. What you'll do in this case, let me just change everything again to radius. Okay. What you'll do in this case, instead of adding this radius with this radius, you're going to subtract. Why? Is because I know where this one is and this one. These 2 points are closer to the center point than these 2 were. Okay, so I don't need to know this extra distance. I don't need to know this extra distance. I just need to know from this point how much deeper must I go in. And from this point, how much deeper must I go in? Okay, so that's why we minus. So you take your 100 minus 29 and 100 minus 22. Okay, so in this case, it's 71. In this case, it's 78. So then I use my compass and I start. Okay, sharp point, one side, pencil on the other, 71. Sharp point, make a line. Alright, and you still work up because my center point goes up. Alright, and the next one is 78. Like that. Now, last step, radius 100. Sharp point where they intersect, and there you go. You're done. That's it. That's tangential lines. All right, let's do 2 different types of circles or circular objects today. All right, the first one is, let's say I need to make a rounded corner. Okay, I'm just going to draw a 45-degree angle for now. Of a 90-degree angle for now, and then alright, so there's a 90-degree angle. Okay, now if I want to make this a rounded corner, usually they'll give you a radius. So for example, a radius of 10 or whatever radius they give you, you're going to work with that. So let's say I'm going to say my radius is 20 because I don't want to work too small. Alright, what you do is you use that radius measurement. Sharp point on the corner, pencil line on the block that you drew. So usually they won't give you a block. You'll just need to draw one in construction lines and use that as your reference. Okay, once you have made your 2 lines, you use your compass with the same measurements. You put your sharp point where you made the mark and you make a little line. And the same on the other side. All right, now there where they intersect, that's going to be your center point of your design, of your it's going to be the center point of your circle or your corner. All right, now all you do, sharp point on where they intersect, and there you go. There is your rounded corner. All right, now the thing is, if your corners are not 90 degrees, let's say I'm going to just use a random angle. All right, let's say it is like this. Okay, and I need to make that a rounded corner. There's again a radius, so what you do is you use that radius given. I'm just going to make this line a bit longer. Okay, there we go. So let's say I'm going to use 20 again. All right, what you do is, because it's open, it's not always easy to do it like this. So I take my radius and I make 2 little loops, okay? 2 rounded angles, okay, or rounded circles. It is going to be my reference point basically, and over here as well. Whoops. You don't need a complete circle, you just need the top lines of your circles. All right, and another one. Okay, so when you have that, all you need to do now is you use that as a reference, the top of the circles and these ones, to get your angle. All right, so let's say there and there. Basically where the top is, where they touch both. All right, tangential lines almost. All right, there we go. And this one and this one. All right, then you just draw a line. Now there where they intersect, over there, that's my center point. Use your compass, same measurements, sharp point there, and there you go. All right. There are other ways to do this, of course, but in this case, this is just the easiest way that I find would help. All right, and there's your corner.